Hello, computer geeks, and welcome back to PC Builder Simulator. So, we're going to continue today with playing another day in the life of this PC builder, but on top of that, at the end of the episode, I am going to discuss my new computer build myself, and the computer that you will hopefully, about the time this video comes out, be seeing on the channel. So hopefully we'll be having higher quality graphics, we'll be able to play games now in 4K, we'll be having a better response time, everything should be better. But for now, we're still stuck with the old machine today. As I said, at the end of the episode, I will go through all the parts that I'm putting into the new build, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well, and you should be seeing the results of that build on the channel about the time you see this video. Alright, so let's go to the email inbox here. Need HDD space to prep for movie event of the decade. I'm Blake Patterberg, and I'm one of the core team over at Movie Maniacs, the world's 53rd website in the UK for movie news and reviews. With the upcoming release of the highly anticipated blockbuster in the Frauenbuster cinematic universe, I'm trying to refresh my memory of the previous films: Frauenbuster, Frauenbuster 2, Frauenbuster 3, Frauenmania, Frauenbuster 4, Fondly Remembered, and the much maligned spin-off Archibald and the Spinning Cups, a Frauenbuster story. I already own all the collector's editions on Blu-ray, but I'd like to rip them to my computer for a more complete frame-by-frame analysis. Sadly, I don't currently have enough hard drive space to do so. Could you increase my storage capacity to another terabyte should do the trick? Alright, so he just wants to upgrade to 1.5 terabytes of storage. So he has a half terabyte in here, evidently. Yeah, he's got 500 gigs right there. Alright, so for his, we're going to need to... Did we already shop for this piece? That's the question. And I need to be able to check my parts and see. It's been a little while since I played this game, so I need to figure out here. Memory. Got an 8 gig and a 4 gig here. Storage. There we go. No, I don't have any storage on me, so I might need to order this. Or is it that I've already done this day, because this one's in transit. Yeah, that one's in transit too. I don't know if I've actually bought these parts or not. That's not really good. I probably am going to need to order the parts again and hope that I didn't already buy them. So let's go to storage here. And let's get terabyte drive for him. What does he have in there right now? He's got a Mortoni Easy Store. Alright. Tony. And they don't sell a terabyte drive. I mean, I could go with a different brand. His budget is 100 bucks. Let's get this Barracuda here. Alright, that one's in transit. We also have this one. The CPU is holding back. Can you install something better? Could you get that done by 9 days? I have read that AMD parts are really good. I notice it sometimes runs a bit slow too. Alright, so upgrade CPU. So he wants AMD. What's his budget? His budget's $300, so we can definitely afford something for him here. Let's go with this one. Alright, upgrade so I can sail. Then great sailing simulation game, but while my computer is just about run it, but if I turn off the graphics, the frame rate drops. I used a turn up the graphics, my frame rate drops. Used a program called Will It Run to see what I need, and it seems that while my PC is okay. Alright, so do I own Will It Run? Let me see here. Probably going to lose everything when I restart the computer here, but that's alright. Yes, let's restart so we can see Will It Run. I am really excited for this new PC though. This is the first time I've built my own PC in a while, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but we will see how it does. Hey, they got Doom on here. Nice. We got Dota, Euro Truck Simulator, F1, Fable Fortune. Nice. Decent amount of games on here. Sail Away, the sailing simulator. Alright. So it is for him his graphics card, I believe. Alright, so let's just go through his computer here. Alright, so it needs 2 gigabytes of VRAM. So let's see his RAM. He's got 8 gigs, so he's perfectly fine there. Or no, he's at RAM. VRAM is 4 gigabytes is recommended. Storage is 8 gigabytes is recommended. Alright, so what does he have? Graphics card probably needs to be upgraded. Storage should be 8 gigs, and he's at what? 320 gigs. Oh yeah, he has plenty of storage. CPU should be a Intel i7 670. Alright, so really it comes down to the graphics card for him. So, graphics card. He needs 4 gigabytes of VRAM to it. What's his budget at? $350 budget. I mean, I could put something really nice in here for him. Everything's going to have 4 gigabytes. I do sometimes like Gigabyte, though with their new 5090s cards made me nervous with their quality drop-off that they had. But you know, of the cards here, it's either theirs or the MSI one. I mean, I'm going to go with the top quality cards. Why not? This one's an overclocked one at 165. $1468, $1752. $1468, $1752. Yeah, they're the same. So I'm going to go with the MSI one. We'll go with that. Alright. So we need to buy these. We'll get those parts. and we'll go ahead to go to bed and hopefully get everything in the next day. Alright, pair an AMD CPU and an NVIDIA GPU. Yeah, I am actually doing that myself, as you will see with my build, so. Alright, we got all those parts perfect. Let's get this over here. Place this computer. Alright, so we can, we need to be, this is the one where we're actually putting in the new GPU. Alright. Now let's install graphics card. Oh. Forgot with these bigger graphics cards, they take up 2 slots. There we go. Perfect. That's in place now. Let's go with cables. There we go. Alright, so we got to put the case back together, but let's go ahead and boot this first. And we'll do will it run. Just to make sure that this actually works properly. We'll even leave a copy of will it run on his computer here for him, because why not? We're nice people like that. Perfect. Yeah, we have overkilled this. We have plenty on the storage. And our graphics card is over what we need. So, great. Good to go on that. Let's power it down. Let's install the case parts. There we go. Alright. So let's go ahead and get out of that. We'll pick this up and we'll put it over here for delivery. That's one down. Alright, so this one is the storage we're doing. Same case here. Sort of interesting. Actually, it looks like the exact same computer in a way. Where do they have the... There we go. Got two of these on me. Shouldn't have hit, but that's alright. How do I... Oh, there we go. Alright, it should have all the storage it needs now. But it's saying it doesn't. I don't understand. Really sort of clunky the way you have to work on this here. There we go. Alright, so we've got the drive bay open. Is it because I didn't plug the wires in? That's probably what it is. Alright. Yeah, this angle here is really... And I can't go any further in there, which is really sort of frustrating. Alright, that did it. There we go. Alright, now what part did I randomly take off here? The dust filter. We'll go ahead and have it boot. While we install these back on. Then we'll shut it down, take it, and put it over there. There we go. This is a nice looking case. Ooh, I like the fans in the front of it too. Alright, so we have to upgrade the CPU in this one. Definitely like this. It's a nice looking case overall. Alright, so we're gonna remove that. We're removing the CPU. Let's go here to the CPUs. Alright. Now we go to Tools and Software, use a little thermal paste on it. Then we're going to use CPU cooling put his... Why can't I put this... Oh. No. There we go. There's a insert cable. How do I close this little thing now? Let's put the paste on it there. Yeah, I need to get that. I understand that, but how? Did it actually remove the entire part? No, it didn't. I don't want to remove it. I know what I'm supposed to be doing here, but it's not allowing me to. So this won't fit on because this little bracket here needs to be closed. Maybe if I get it at the right angle here. There we go. All right. That was more of a hassle than it needed to be. There we go. All right. You know what? I actually want to remove that because I don't trust that the thermal paste is still on there. Let's put some more on there. Make sure. Run the cabling. There we go. Now let's power it on. I do love the fans on the front. As I said, it's a nice looking case overall. Just a little bit annoying as far as the controls to the actual game. It is an older game, so I get that that's gonna happen at points. Alright, let's go ahead and put that over there. And let's go ahead and get in here and sell some stuff. Or take care of these projects here. Alright, collect on that one. There we go. Collect on that one. There we are. And collect on that one. New parts have been added. Very good. It's time for me to upgrade my PC. My CPU needs an upgrade. My brother has Intel in his PC. He says they're the best. It's urgent, so please hurry. Alright. So we have to upgrade the CPU. Currently, what is he running? He's got an Intel Core i5. Let's go by manufacturer, go Intel. We could go i7. Yeah, let's just go an i7 here. How much does he want to spend? Oh, 400 or more. Easy enough. Let's go with this one. There we go. We'll accept that job as well. Things aren't working fast enough. I think the graphics card needs upgrading. It seems a bit dusty inside. Can you get it done quickly? Alright, so he wants to upgrade the graphics card. What does he currently have? He has an R9 290 GR8. We're willing to spend 600 bucks, so we can definitely do something for him. You know, I have a graphics card. It's a 280. Yeah, he's got a 290, doesn't he? Yeah, 290. We'll upgrade beyond that. Since he's already with AMD, what is his VRAM at? Don't even know. Not as familiar with these older AMD cards over the NVIDIA cards. Always been a fan of NVIDIA when I could help it. I will say the new AMD cards are getting better, but still a ways away. Alright, 290 is over here. 4 gigs, right around 1000 hertz. Why don't we upgrade him to the 980 XL? Yeah, I want to give him something good. So we'll give him that. We'll keep him with AMD. I got the money. Can you upgrade? Can you make the upgrade? The graphics card isn't up to my high standards. Can you do something about it? I've got to have it by 8 days too. I'm a total NMSI fanboy. I never cleaned it out. Is that okay? Alright. What graphics card do you have? You don't even have an MSI right now. Alright. Well, we will get you an MSI. Actually, wait a second. I just realized I did switch this guy over from AMD to GeForce, so it isn't AMD anymore. Alright, let's go with this MSI though for him. Let's just go with 2 MSIs. They're better quality cards anyways, in my opinion. So we'll get 2 of those. Should definitely take care of the other guy's needs as well. Because he has a 290 right now. So let's see, on the high end, he's looking at 1012.50, 1400 and 1750. Yeah, he's getting an upgrade with that. Alright, so we'll accept that as well. In transit, in transit, in transit. Upgrade. My computer is so slow. I need 8 gigabytes of RAM. Can you finish before 4 days? The vents look a bit clogged. Is that okay? Alright, so he needs 8 gigs of RAM. What is he at currently? He's at 4 gigs. Alright, so he needs 4 more gigs of RAM. What type does he have? T Group, T-Force Dark. What do I have over here in RAM? I could put that in it right there for him. It's used, but it'll save me some money. I'm going to do that. A little bit on the dirty practices side, I'd say, but it works out alright. Alright. Let's get rid of these ones that we already know and we've done. There we go. Also these. Perfect. So we've got 4 jobs ready. We're just going to move it to the next day. That way I'm ensured that I've purchased all the items I need. And I don't have to worry about it in the next video. Alright, so we've got the stuff in. Wait a second. Where is my... I didn't purchase the parts. Darn it. That's my bad. We'll still be able to get them done. It's just going to take us an extra day. All right. So we got a couple more days. This is the one. We can do this one right now, so let's go ahead and do this real fast. Wasn't planning on doing it, but you know what? We can. So let's go ahead and take care of it. Yeah, definitely needs to have this blown out. So glad to have my electronic air gun now. I hated when your hands would get freezing cold because of holding the air while using it. It was such a mess over time. Make sure we don't need to get in here to blow it out anymore. No, it looks clean in there. Alright. So let's go ahead and he wants 8 gigabytes of RAM. Let's go ahead and put in our 8 gigabytes of RAM. Perfect. Let's see if it'll power on. It does. Nice easy fix. There we go. That one's taken care of. Perfect. I only got a 4 out of 5 stars there, but that's fine. We got some new ones here. Alright. Let's see. Upgrade my rig. Can you help me make my PC faster? CPU is probably the most important thing. Can you put in 16 gigabytes of memory? The vents look a bit clogged. Alright, so we need 2 8 gig sticks and a new CPU, it looks like. Oh, he's already got one 8 gig stick, so we just need one more 8 gig stick. He's got an AMD Ryzen quad. Alright. Let's see here. You know what? I just don't like putting in these used parts. I felt dirty about that. Let's go over here. I'd rather sell this stuff on the market and just buy the things I need. Alright, all that's sold. Let's see here. So we are going to need a AMD 5 at least for this guy. Yeah, AMD 5. And an 8 gig stick of T Dark Force. Need to make sure the megahertz. 8 gig 2400 megahertz. Alright, that should work out fine there. And he wanted a new CPU, and he's got the Ryzen 3. So let's go up to the Ryzen 5. What's wrong with my gaming rig? My gaming rig isn't booting anymore. I don't know what's wrong with it. Can you diagnose what's wrong with it? Seems to power on okay. The fans go around, but it doesn't go any further than the BIOS screen. have a look and fix whatever's wrong with it. Alright, so we're going to have to fix that one. It's going to have to come in first. Yeah, we're just going to have to... Yeah, exactly. That's the plan on it. As you no doubt aware, it's nearly the 15th anniversary of beloved cult classic Babes of Planet Bathmore. You would think the powers that be would have used the opportunity to release a 4K remaster, but no, they haven't even reissued the old DVD, which now commands a high price at auction online. It's like they don't want money. Not that the old DVD is any good, by the way. Film transfer is super noisy compared to the much superior Laserdisc home release. They completely ruined the iconic underwater dance number with stupid-looking CGI fish. I wanted to host a viewing for my friends, but my own Laserdisc was sadly destroyed when a pile of imported Japanese horror film steel books fell on it, so I was forced to use less legal means to get a copy in time for the day itself. Now, I'm no stranger to venturing into the dark side of the internet if necessary, and it's perfectly safe if you know what you're doing. After all, just like Captain Cartwright said in the film, we explore Bathmore not because we are merely curious, but because we see what lies beyond. What a great character, am I right? I'll never understand how he didn't clinch the top spot in Movie Maniac's top 100 proselytizing protagonist list. Anyway, my computer has a virus now. Could you run a scan or something and remove it? Thanks. All right, so we've got to run a virus scan for him. That's it on his. So we only have to buy these two parts. So we'll buy those. We've got the auto connect tool. We're only at level 3, so we still have quite a bit we can't get. This would be good to have the system performance. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the system performance one. I would love to be able to get this as well, but we're going to have to wait on that, as well as the quick screw tool and the USB drive. Don't really need the USB drive probably, but the quick screw tool would be a good thing. I would love to get that, but that's level 16. Yeah, that will be nice when we get there. The 2000 for the quick screw tool is the biggest one for me. Don't care about that. I don't like using those parts, the used parts anyways. Ooh, peripheral shop would be fun. That's alright. That doesn't really matter too much. This would definitely be nice. That would be very nice. That could be useful. And that wouldn't be the end of the world. Alright. This is the biggest one, though, to have. So let's go ahead and buy that. Alright, perfect. So now, in theory, I should have... Yep, I have system info. Perfect. Alright. So let's end the second day now here that we've done in a row. I just don't know how I'm supposed to buy part of the company yet. But I guess we'll see that soon enough. Alright, so let's end the day. We got all our stuff in here. And this is where I'm going to end this part of the video. As I said, we're going to go over and take a look at what I'm putting into my own personal rig here. So that way you can see what's coming on the new gaming PC. Alright, so here's everything that I have that's going into the new build. I'm going to be using pretty much some of the highest of the parts that are out on the market right now. I decided to go with the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X3D over the Ryzen, I believe it's 8850X3D. I know that the other one is supposedly the best CPU for gaming that's on the market, but realistically, the 9950 X3D does everything that it does. It just has additional cores to it, which will allow for things like recording and video editing and such to run more smoothly, and at the same time as gaming. Since I do like to do both at the same time, I felt like it was a good thing to go with the better chip for doing both of those. I don't think it should hurt gaming at all, but it should improve things overall. Now, I went with a non-RGB cooler here, which is probably shocking to people. For myself, I'm not one that really cares too much about my PC being what I sort of call overly blingy. I don't care for it to look amazing. I don't care to have sort of the fish tank look with glass on as many sides as possible and as much RGB as possible and all those kind of things. It doesn't really matter to me too much. I like this one for a couple different reasons. I did want one that did have a little screen on it because I would like it to tell me what the temperatures the computer is running at are. So both the GPU and CPU temperatures would be good, and I believe I should be able to do that with this little screen that comes on the cooler. Secondly, this particular cooler, from what I have seen, both in different written documents as well as some testing from different YouTubers who do this for a living, the Ryujin 3 is the coolest running CPU cooler on the market pretty much. It does a better job than pretty much any other one out there. And for me, I'm really going with this build being about quality of parts. Since I'm doing a quality CPU, I definitely want to protect it with a nice quality cooler to it. So that's why I went with this one. I'm going with the Asus ROG Strix X870E gaming motherboard. Couple reasons. This one is ranked for the top pretty much when you're using the AMD Ryzen 9 as well as the graphics card that I'm using. So those are the two key components that you want to look at with a motherboard, and this one was in the top 5 for that. I liked the look of it overall, and I felt like it had upgrade capabilities if I wanted to upgrade it in the future. With that, I went with the Corsair Dominator Titanium memory here. I went with 64 gigabytes of RAM at the 6000 because 6000 is sort of the sweet spot for gaming. If you go higher than that, it can work, but in some cases it can have issues. And if you go below 6000, it definitely can have issues. So 6000 is really the sweet spot. And I figured I wanted to go with 64 gigabytes. Again, that's not really something for gaming. You could easily do with 32 gigabytes. But my thing is, I want to make sure that I have enough for, as I said, the video editing and other things that I do, especially related to my channel. So I went with that. It is sort of the top of the line RAM that is out there right now. And again, a lot of these parts, yes, I did spend the money to go a little bit overkill with it right now, but my hope is that because of that, I won't have to upgrade any of this for quite some time. I don't really plan on buying the next gen video card and stuff. I hope to wait 2 generations before I buy parts again. So I'm hoping that some of these parts may even still be able to take some of those new parts when I do get them in, or at the very least, they will last and be competing quality-wise until 2 generations from now. Now, one part that I did go a little bit of a skimp on, and it wasn't because of price at all, was the storage. I went with the Samsung 990 Pro. I went with 4 terabytes. Again, could have done it with 1 terabyte. Really, I would recommend at least 2 terabytes, but particularly because I don't just do gaming, but I also do video editing and other things on my computer, I wanted to have the 4 terabytes just so all of those processes run more smoothly. Now this is a Gen 4 storage, and there is Gen 5 out there. My motherboard can very easily handle Gen 5, and it's not the price difference that really made the difference for me, though I will say I did consider that. There is a fairly significant price difference between Gen 4 and Gen 5, but the things that really made the difference for me is Gen 5 memory gets very, very hot. And I am concerned about heat in my computer. It's one of those negatives in a computer you don't want to have happen. And I will get to how I dealt with it somewhat over here in a little bit. This particular motherboard does have a heatsink for the storage stick, but at the same time, I didn't see a reason to get that additional heat in there. Yes, the Gen 5 stick does run slightly faster. I don't feel like that makes a difference at the current time period where it's something that I needed to have over the Gen 4. Gen 4 definitely works for pretty much any gaming that's out there and works perfectly fine for things like video editing and such. In the future, it may be one that Gen 5 becomes necessary, but I do not feel it is right now. And so because of that, between having a higher price and the additional heat, which is the greater concern to me, I didn't see a point in going with the Gen 5 storage. So for now, I went with the Samsung 990 Pro 4 terabytes. It's not an expense where I wouldn't upgrade it in the future. That's a fairly easy upgrade to make on a computer. So if in the future I find that I need Gen 5, I could easily purchase a stick and I could just put it into the machine very quickly without having to change too much at all. Then we get to the biggest expense and the most exciting part of my build. We have MSI, because as I said in the video earlier, I do like MSI, and I went with the MSI Vanguard SoC GeForce RTX 5090 graphics card. This is a 32 gigabyte graphics card. Um, I know that NVIDIA is still trying to push that 8 gigabyte graphics cards can work in the modern era. I don't know if there's somebody smoking something at NVIDIA with them thinking that or what, but in reality, you have to have, in my opinion, at least 12 gigabytes of VRAM in your graphics card to make it functional for modern day gaming, especially at a 4K level. This one is 32 gigabytes, which, as I said, I don't plan on buying the 60 series of graphics card, so I did want to go high end here so that way VRAM and everything should hold up for at least 2 generations. And the 5090, in my opinion, did outperform the 4090 quite nicely. You didn't see that across the board with the 50 series. The 5060 especially was just a flop. I didn't see a significant difference that made it even worth considering a 5060 over a 4060. The 5070 only very slightly above the 4060 or the 4070. Um, when you're comparing the TI versions, I guess the 5070 Ti makes it okay, but really it isn't until, in my opinion, you get to the 5080s and the 5090s that you start seeing that gap in frames per second and quality really expanding. And so I wanted to go with the 5090. It took me a while to find a 5090 that wasn't at an insane price. I still am not happy with what I ended up having to pay for it. And no, I'm not going to say what I ended up paying for it. But let us just say I did not pay MSRP, and I do feel in part like I paid too much. That being said, I have gotten it in. I'm very happy I've gotten it in. I do think the Vanguard is a really good quality one. Originally, I was looking at the Supreme Liquid, which is at least another $800 on top of the air-cooled cards. And the thing that I found that was disturbing is I had not realized with the liquid-cooled graphics cards, they have a shorter expected lifespan than the air-cooled cards. Now, as I said, I do care about heat and such, and without a question, the liquid-cooled will run cooler and will make your overall case cooler than the air-cooled one will. But the expected lifespan on the liquid ones is between 3 to 5 years, where the air-cooled ones are expected to have a lifespan of 5 to 7 years. And when you're spending this kind of money on a graphics card, I want it to last longer. So I just have to deal with more heat in order to do that, which is where a lot of the rest of the build comes in here. We'll skip the case so we can get that with the fans here. Um, I'm going to run basic Windows 11 here. I don't really see a point in the Pro version. If you guys do, let me know. I'm open to it. I haven't purchased this yet. I will basically purchase this once I get the computer pretty much built and ready to go, which I'm not going to build. I mean, by the time you see this video, it's probably already built. Don't know for sure though. this will be about that same time period. But I'm not building it right now simply because of the fact that I'm going to be moving into my new house with my wife and my mother in a couple of weeks here, and it's easier moving all the parts neatly packed and nicely secured and safe, and I like that. And additionally, my house right now leaks air and therefore allows a lot of the wonderful desert environment that we live in into the house. The house that we are buying does not. So I like the idea of being able to build this monster computer in a fairly clean space like I will have there. So I am waiting on it. There, as I said, I'm definitely leaning towards the Windows 11 home version, but if you guys find, if you have a good reason why the Pro version would be better, let me know. I've looked at the compare and contrast. Yes, the Pro version does come with some upgrades and such, but nothing really that I use. I mean, to me, I see a lot of the add-ons to Windows as almost bloatware itself, and so personally, I think this one's better because I have less of the garbage to deal with. Then we have the power supply here. This is a massive power supply, but when I'm running this CPU and this GPU, I needed a lot of power. This is a little bit overkill even for that, I understand. But again, I'm hoping that I won't have to replace that when I do a rebuild on this computer in the future. Or if I decide to build an entirely new computer, this might actually be able to come with. It's the Corsair's HX 1500i, the 2023 version, which is one of the top ranked power supplies on the market, and it's the reason I went with it. There is a power supply list out there you can find. I think if you just type in like PSU list, you should be able to find it. There are a ton of different power supplies listed on it that have been tested by professionals, and they give you their feedback on them, they give you grading on them and such. And so I wanted to go with one that was as high ranked as possible. This got an A plus rating from them. Really what I have learned over the process is don't pay attention to the platinum certified or the gold certified and such that you see. A lot of them have those. It used to be a rating system that was very good, but it doesn't seem to hold up as well anymore. You could buy a gold certified power supply and have it blow up on you kind of thing. So I would suggest checking for the PSU list before you buy a power supply to ensure that you're getting one that's going to be high quality and last you for a long time. Corsair's really seems to fit that for me. The only question I have is if it will fit in my case. This length of this PSU is the maximum length allowed in this case. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, it does fit. If not, I'm going to have to return it and try to get something smaller, and it means going back into the list and trying to go through them all over again, which I'm not looking forward to. With that being said, this is not one of the top tier cases out there. This is not a case that everybody talks about, and I get that perfectly well. Um, Really, there's only three particular cases that I'm interested in, though, on the market. As I said, I don't care about it being flashy and such. I want productivity. So the other two cases, one of them is barely available, and there's no information on it, which is why I didn't go with it. The other one is not available yet, so there's no information on it yet. Those two cases are MSI's Velux case, which has a new type of fan to it, which is very exciting to me, and I am intrigued by it. It's sort of a standard case, but the new fans that they've come up with, the Velux fans, are a dual-bladed type of fan, which are supposed to direct the airflow a little bit better. The main reason I did not go with that one over this one is this one has it has the ability to mount fans along the bottom of the case. That one does not. And particularly when I'm dealing with a 5090 graphics card, which is pretty much the largest and most heat-producing graphics card that is on the market, I want to have those fans that are below it shooting air straight up into the graphics card. So between the two cases, that's why I went with this one. The other case that's not yet available is one that I might consider in the future buying and swapping out for this case. Uh, I'm going to be giving the computer I'm working on right now to my wife. She doesn't game too often, and it's one of those where she just wants sort of a little bit of an upgrade to her computer. So I'm giving her this computer, which works fine for pretty much everyone that's not trying to do 4K gaming and everything of that nature. The thing that I hate about the computer though, and I want better for her as well, is the case in particular. The particular case that I have has a glass front to it and no dust filter. And so because of that, living in the desert, it is basically an open invitation for those front-facing fans to draw in all the dust of the desert, which makes the computer a mess all the time. This case has dust filters on the front, on the bottom, and on the top, which will definitely help eliminate that. And so, as I said, if I go with the new case in the future, then I will definitely be moving all of her parts into this computer. That other case that I've somewhat vaguely mentioned is the new Corsair Air 5400. With the Corsair Air, the thing that I like about it, it is unique looking. I am not a huge fan of the fact that it's basically a fish tank, but what I do like about it is it moves the CPU air or water cooler to a separate compartment. It is a 3-chamber PC case, so the liquid cooler is in its own compartment, and it just draws fresh air into the cooler and then vents it out the side of the case without it ever coming into the area where the GPU and the CPU are. The PSU still vents itself out of the case in a separate compartment, just like the dual chamber cases do. Then within the main chamber on the Corsair 5400, it has fans on the bottom which shoot air straight up into the GPU, as I do like, and then it has fans on the top to evacuate that air out. So it really sort of compartmentalizes things some. It is a question of whether or not that is actually going to make a difference as far as the coolness of the case or the parts. It's one that I'm keeping an eye out on. When it comes onto the market, I'm going to definitely wait for some of the main YouTube channels that do testing on cases and stuff to get their hands on it and to see what numbers they find. If it has good numbers, then I probably will switch over to it because, as I said, I do like the idea of getting as much cool air as I can into my computer. So let's get back to this case and why I like it a bit. As I said, it allows 3 fans along the bottom. For those, I've chosen the Lian Li fans. They are the Infinity style. They are 120 millimeters, and so they will draw air in from the bottom, shoot it straight upwards. On the top of the case, I will have the liquid cooler for the CPU up there, so it will be blowing all the hot air out of the case. Yes, it does mean that the hot air is being blown through the radiator here, but because of the quality of this radiator, I don't feel like it's going to be detrimental to the cooling of the CPU too much. On the front of this case and on the back, what I like about this case and the reason I chose this one is because of the fact that this case allows for 140 millimeter fans. 3 of them on the front, 1 of them on the back. I've gone with more Lian Li Infinity fans. I just like the style of the Lian Li's. I actually like the Lian Li's that don't have the fan itself illuminated, but they didn't have those in the 140s. And so to keep everything sort of consistent throughout the case, I went with Infinity fans on all of them. But yeah, I think that these are going to look really nice in there. They are going to add a little bit of, as I say, bling to the case, but it's not going to be something, to me, the case is there to function. It's to keep the parts cool so that you can actually enjoy your gaming experience at top quality. You're rarely going to look at your case overall. Really, the thing in my case that's going to matter to me the most to look at is going to be this little screen on the Ryujin here, just to see what my temperatures are at. So prettiness isn't as much of a factor to me. I want it to be functional. The fact that these are Lian Li fans means, in my opinion, they're high quality because Lian Li has made a good, consistent product for years now. And the fact that they're 140s means that they're going to pull in a good amount of nice fresh air from the front and evacuate a decent amount of air out the back. So we should be getting good air through here, good air through here, and then we'll evacuate it through the top and the back. So there it is. There's my build overall. As I said, nothing too flashy. but what I'm going for is much more high powered. Hopefully, it's something to interest you. If you're watching a series about PC building, then I would assume it is something to interest you. And if it is, let me know. I'll be more than willing to take a picture or two of the new computer once I have it all built. Some people have asked me if I was going to, take some video while I was building the computer. And while in a way it does interest me, I'm not going to. And it's nothing against you guys at all. The whole thing for me is I want to make sure that my entire focus is on the construction of that computer. I haven't built something like this before. I understand how it all goes together, and I have built computers in the past, just not with the kind of components we're talking about today. So I want to make sure that my entire focus is on the task at hand. Everything is taken care of properly and efficiently. I don't want to mess this up. So because of that, yeah, I'm not going to get distracted by like trying to video it and such as I'm doing it. What I will do is once it is built, if you guys want to see some pictures, I will take some pictures of it and I will put those in an upcoming PC Builder Simulator video, same as I did with this at the end. So if you're not interested in it, you could have just stopped watching the video. With that in mind though, if you did enjoy what you saw here, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you back for more videos on the channel.